Hi, in this video, let's get started with studying about the embedded systems with AVR microcontroller. Now, before we get dive into or before we start studying into the actual content, let us first see what is all included in this course and what you can expect out of it. So, this is a curriculum that I have created for this course, and this curriculum is divided into several chapters. First of which is Introduction to AVR Controllers, where we will be studying about the architecture of the AVR controller, and we will choose a particular device out of the AVR family. Once chosen, that is Atmega 32, we'll see how to perform the IO programming for Atmega 32. IO programming involves the interfacing of general purpose input-output ports with a number of different electronic hardwares and writing down a program for it. Once the IO interfacing is done, we will get started and study about the LCD interfacing with Atmega 32, analog inputs on Atmega 32, how to handle interrupts with Atmega 32. Then we'll see what are the timers and counters on Atmega 32 controller, how we can generate PWM signals on Atmega, then how to use the built-in EEPROM, I2C and serial communication on Atmega 32. Throughout this course, we will be studying about a number of different interfaces that we are going to interface or that we are going to connect to the AVR controller that we are using, and we will be studying how to write down programs for them. And we will be using the Atmel Studio to do all these exercises. So the very first thing I would like you to do is install Atmel Studio on your computer. So first thing to do is simply search for Atmel Studio. You will go to the official Microchip website because Atmel or the AVR series and the entire Atmel company has been taken over by Microchip. So everything that Atmel has now belongs to Microchip. And you will get to this link where you can download the Atmel Studio 7. Make sure you download the installable version of Atmel Studio. Alternatively, there is a web installer also which will be installed online. And when you download this offline installer, all you have to do is double click it and the Atmel Studio will be installed on your computer. Now let's get started with understanding of AVR controllers. Now there are a number of different MCU architectures which are very popular and which are used and which are followed by many microcontroller manufacturers. Primarily, they are categorized as RISC architecture and CISC architecture. So, CISC is basically complex instruction set computer where there are more number of instructions, and RISC is reduced instruction set computer where there are less number of instructions. But the difference is not only the more number of instruction and less number of instruction, the difference lies in the execution time. Since there are more number of instructions, the instructions are usually complex and they take more than one clock cycle to execute. For example, in 8051, it needs 12 clock cycles, or which is also called as T-states, to execute single instruction. Whereas in RISC, like AVR controller, every instruction is executed in a single clock cycle, that is one T-state. That makes the AVR directly 12 times faster than 8051 at a same clock frequency. So if both of them are working on 12 megahertz, then AVR is 12 times faster directly. There are a number of different popular architectures which are created for microprocessor development. I think you might know about x86, MIPS, ARM, SPARC and PowerPC. But these are all for creation of microprocessor. What we are going to study or what we are going to implement is an embedded system, and therefore we need to understand about the microcontroller architecture. Now you might have known about 8051, then there is AVR, then there is SPIC, then there is STM8, STM32, and a vast series of ARM-based architectures which are used to create microcontrollers. What you can see here is an architecture of AVR. that is AVR microcontroller architecture. Previously, it was called as Advanced Virtual RISC. Currently, it doesn't have any acronym and it is just said to be AVR. By simply looking at the architecture, there aren't many things that we can understand except a fact that there is an ALU just like any other microcontroller, and then there are 32 8-bit general purpose registers built inside the ALU which are used for a number of different operations. AVR also has got some on-chip EEPROM which is standard on all devices. Then there are IO lines, there is data RAM, program counter, flash memory, instruction register and instruction decoder. Apart from that, there are some features on AVR series controller like interrupt unit, SPI unit, watchdog timer and analog comparator. Apart from these features, depending upon which device you have, they may have some additional stuffs like analog to digital converter, then PWM generator, then 2-wire interface. Don't worry if you don't understand any of these things. We are anyways going to discuss every single thing of it in detail. Let's proceed. So when we look at the AVR series of controllers, currently there are Tiny series controllers, Mega series, X Mega series, as well as USB series controllers. USB series means the controller which has got an on-chip USB interface. Tiny is a low power device range which are optimized to run on battery. Then Mega series is the one which is having mega feature set and which are useful for almost all the general purpose applications. X Mega is an advanced Mega series, so you can just consider that to be a Mega series which has got more number of features than even the Mega series. And USB is just another Mega series of controllers which has got on-chip USB for the usage. Now for our particular understanding and for throughout this course, what we are going to do is we are going to use Atmega 32 as our device. Although Atmega 32 can be easily pin-to-pin replaced by Atmega 16. Both of these devices are actually 40-pin ICs and most of the features of these two devices are same except a minor difference of RAM. However, please note that throughout this course and every single video in this course, Atmega 16 and Atmega 32 can be used interchangeably. So there is no difference at all whenever you are referring to either Atmega 32 or Atmega 16. What it's shown over here is a minimum operational circuit diagram to make the Atmega 32 work for you. What I mean to say is, if you have an Atmega 32 with you and if you simply want to run it on a breadboard, then you need this much circuit only. You just build this much circuit on breadboard and the Atmega 32 will start working. You can download program into Atmega 32 and you can run it, provided that you have connected VCC to pin number 10, which is plus 5 volt, ground to pin number 11 and 31. Then there is a VCC pin which should also go to plus 5 volt, and the clock circuit for an external crystal to be connected has to be connected in this fashion, where you connect a crystal between pin number 12 and 13 and two decoupling capacitors are connected with crystal towards ground. Additionally, a reset switch can be connected. The reset on Atmega 32 is active low reset. What it means is, when you provide the ground potential to Atmega 32, it will get reset. So there is an external pull-up resistor connected here, which is optional. It is not necessary. And if you simply don't connect this circuit above it or inside this box, it's still okay. Just connect a switch from pin to ground and you're good to go. So if you create this much circuit, then your project can run by downloading the code into the IC. Now let's try to understand, let's look at the pinout of Atmega 32 and see all the different pins that we have available. So as said, This is a 40 pin IC, and we can easily mention or we can easily mark out some pins. So what you can see here is one port of ATmega32, which is port B. It's called as port B. Similarly, you will be able to notice port A, port C, and port D. Out of 40 pins total, the 32 pins are utilized for input-output interfacing. All port A, port B, port C, port D are 8-bit ports, and they each have a single pin associated with every pin number. So what will remain with its 8 pins? Out of these 8 pins, 2 are utilized for connecting the crystal, as you can notice here. So what we are left with is 6 pins. Out of these 6 pins, 1 pin is given for reset. So what we are left with is 5 pins. And these 5 pins are the power pins. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For the IC to operate, it is mandatory to connect VCC and AVCC to 5 volts and ground to ground pins. ARF is utilized when we will discuss about the A to D converter. So we'll discuss it when the analog to digital conversion comes into picture. Now let's try to create our first program for ATmega32 in the next video, and let's try to see what is the hex file and how we can perform a simulation for ATmega32 microcontroller. Thank you for watching this video.